Y2K, also known as the year 2000 bug, the new dark age. The Y2K bug would have affected systems that used a 2-digit date format instead of a 4-digit date format. According to Richard Peters, a system using the 2-digit date format would interpret the 1st of January, year 2000, as the 1st of January 1900. It was feared that systems using the 2-digit date format would malfunction and or break entirely, hence the Y2K dilemma. But what we now call Y2K wasn't some great surprise to the world, but rather it was a known peril. Polls were conducted as early as March of 1998 on the American population by Gallup News Service, which concluded that about 70% of Americans anticipated no major problems, but 60% expected minor issues. Some of this fear was most likely precipitated by important people like Charles Rossetti, who happened to be the commissioner of the U.S. Internal Revenue Service at the time, who said, and I quote, "Y2K is a very, very serious problem. If we don't fix the century date problem, we will have a situation scarier than the average disaster movie," end quote. Since nobody could have accurately predicted what the millennium shift would cause, opinions varied greatly on the predicted effects. Some, like John R. Quain, produced help sheets to easily prevent Y2K issues that provided small reliefs to the common citizen. And as the date drew closer, polls conducted by Gallup News Service in March of 1999, 1 year later, concluded that 73% of people were confident in their government's ability to prevent Y2K problems entirely. Many newspapers headlined Y2K as a major problem in 1999. Some even had countdown timers, according to an article written in December of 1999. The titles of the headlines included, and I quote, "Cities stocked up, preparing for worst," "Last ditch," "There will be trouble," and "Time's up." Now, why these authors chose to be so spine-chilling, who knows? Either way, we know the truth about Y2K. Yet, in 1999, nobody could have quantified Y2K's effects, but these articles promptly caused people to prepare for the worst and to flock to stores for supplies before the new year in fear of the Y2K bug. So, why then? Why were articles predicting the world to end? After all, humans had already made it through so many potential disasters. So, why did so many experts believe that a man-made issue would end the world as we knew it? Heck, we hadn't even invented MySpace yet, or Craigslist, but that has other uses now. Anyway, this method of scaring everyone was more than likely the best way for people to take notice of the issue. If the problems that Y2K presented affected most people, then the world would be a massive headache to deal with, since populations would be a century apart in time. So all the propaganda that flipped the world on its back was really just a preemptive measure to make sure that time wasn't wasted fixing everybody's century date system. According to CBS News, and I quote, "Although the Millennium Bug was a lot of hype, it was money well spent," end quote. Yes, money that left your average Joe wondering why the year 2000 bug was over-dramatized.